Hello everyone, I am the Jolly Jester, and welcome to my Universal Caster build, Radiation Pulse. How this works is I take you step by step through the cards and gems, and the reasoning behind them so you understand how they work and why to use them. Before I start, I'd also like to say that this build is viable and can be used for any casters in the mid or solo lane. Although there are builds that could be specific to other certain casters I will cover in the future, this build is just for those who want one deck that they can use in multiple scenarios for multiple heroes. A universal deck. The affinities we'll be using for this deck are Knowledge and Chaos. Now let's start with our cards. There are two choices you can start with depending on how you play. Now everyone plays differently, so it depends on what you feel would work better for you. But in my case, I'll start with Font of Experience. This card allows you to receive 4 experience every 10 seconds. That way you reach levels faster and gather your abilities faster. And this makes you stay ahead of your opponent if they aren't using Font of Experience. This card costs 1,000 gold, so at the start of the match, you just buy it instead of putting a point into one of the other slots, Agility, Vitality, Intellect. The other option for a starter card is Advanced Evolution. This card restores 5% of your max health and max mana for 3 seconds after leveling up. So this allows you to stay in lane longer in the early game. This card costs 1 intellect, which means you spend the 1,000 gold you have at the start and you put it into the intellect category. So now that we know how that works, let's speed things up a bit. There are 3 filler cards that you can choose before you get to your final build. Mana Flow Acolyte, Astral Leap, Soldier of Fortune. What I will use is Mana Flow Acolyte. This card gives you 9 power every time you purchase Intellect. You receive 0.5% max mana and power. Now those effects are lost once you discard the card. That's why it's only a filler card. And it only costs 3 Intellect. Another filler card is Astral Leap. This card allows you to teleport 1,500 units in front of you. But if you enter combat, it takes 8 seconds until you're able to use it again. This card is great for escaping a fight before it begins, or even engaging into one. This card costs 4 intellect. The third filler card is actually a great card to hold on to for most of the game. It's Soldier of Fortune. Whenever you activate this card, it executes a minion and gives you 175 gold and 35 experience. You can easily replace Font of Experience with this card, so that way you keep ahead of gold and experience. But it does cost 4 intellect and 500 gold. So once you've put 7 points in an intellect, you'll pretty much be dropping all your filler cards and getting Glacier and Dawn. This card gives you 21 power, stacking on a whole lot of damage. On top of that, this card allows you to launch a fireball, dealing 150 ability damage and a burning over time damage that adds up to 200 damage in total of 4 seconds. That means overall, not 150 plus 200. It's just a flat 200 ability damage that happens in 4 seconds. This does scale with the hero level though, so for every level it adds 15 power. This card is fantastic for securing kills that are just out of reach, and it's only 7 intellect. Now the last 2 cards for your final build is a toss-up to how you like to play. Me personally, I go for as much damage as possible, but it's really up to you and your playstyle. So I've added a variety to the deck for anyone who wants something different, so we'll name off the last couple of cards, and then I'll tell you which 3 final cards I normally use, and then list off multiple different card combinations you can use. So we have Atomic Soldier, which gives you 15 power, 145 mana, and a 10% ability damage increase for 8 intellect points. Amplification Engineer, which gives you 20 power, 180 mana, and every time you cast an ability, you deal 12% of the enemy's current health as ability damage. That's only 10 intellect, 2 agility. Corrosive Walker, which gives you 25 power, 385 health, and when you activate it, you reduce the nearby enemy's ability armor by 30 for 6 seconds. This card is 8 intellect and 4 vitality. OPD Militia. This card gives you 15 power, 21 attack speed, and 190 mana, and when toggled, every basic attack deals an additional 20 ability damage, but also uses 20 mana. And this card costs 8 agility and 4 intellect. And when you're getting extra saucy, Redzone. This card gives you 29 power, 410 health, 170 mana, and this card has a passive effect that when inside its aura, all nearby enemy and allied heroes both deal and receive 50 bonus damage. This is a very risky card to use, but it can pay off in big ways if you use it right. And finally, the very last card you'll put in your deck is Power Tap. This card costs 4,000 gold, but when you activate it, it gets discarded and permanently gives you plus 15 power. And you can stack this card and continually use it as much as you can fit into one game, but it costs 4,000 gold every time to use it. Now my final 3 cards that I normally use are Amplification Engineer, Glacier and Dawn, and Redzone. But here are a few other card combinations that you can use that may suit you or your hero playstyle. Alright, let's move on to gems. It's pretty simple. Your first gem is the Healing Towers gem in Vitality. This gem helps you sustain in your lane longer by giving you 2.2 health regen and 25% mana regen when under tower. The next 5 will all be in the Intellect tab. You have Auto Shield to gain 100 shield for 4 seconds when falling below 25% max health. Deadly Mana. This gives you 2 max mana every time you kill a minion, and that stacks up. Mana Fountain. This allows you to regen mana at a very fast rate depending on how much mana you're missing. Spell Shield. This will block any ability. Amplify Aura. This gives you the passive aura that increases your ability damage by 10%. So this is the final build. This can be used for any of the heroes you see on screen right now. I'll be working on more builds and hero guides in the future, and possibly more universal deck builds as well. But with all this being said, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and let me know what you think of the build, and don't forget to subscribe for more builds like these to come. Thank you for watching, and it smells like we're done here. Nah, B.